One of the hardest truths we have to accept in life is that most people really don't care about what we're going through. They don't sit around thinking about our dreams, our fears, our struggles, or our plans. And it's not because people are cruel or heartless. It's simply because everyone is living in their own world, fighting their own battles, carrying their own burdens. The sooner you understand this, the sooner you free yourself from the invisible chains of needing constant validation. So many of us spend years trapped in a cycle of trying to prove ourselves to others. We work harder than ever, not because we love the journey, but because we're hoping someone will finally notice us and applaud us for it. We post our accomplishments online, waiting for likes and comments, thinking that somehow the world's approval will make us feel whole. But here's the thing. Even when people clap for you, it fades quickly. Their lives move on, their focus shifts, and you're left chasing the next round of applause, like an addict chasing another fix. That's not freedom, that's a prison. At some point, you have to decide, are you doing this for them or are you doing this for you? Because if your happiness depends on their reaction, you will forever live in disappointment. People can support you today and forget you tomorrow. They can believe in you this week and doubt you the next. You cannot build your foundation on unstable ground. The strongest people are the ones who decide, deep within themselves, that their journey doesn't need an audience to be meaningful. And here's what's powerful. The moment you stop waiting for someone to validate you, something inside you shifts. You begin to act differently. You stop hesitating. You stop asking, what will they think? And start asking, what do I want? What do I need to do to get there? You stop playing small to fit someone else's expectations, and you begin to grow into the person you were meant to be. But it's not easy, is it? Because there's a voice in the back of your mind that whispers, what if I fail and everyone sees it? That fear of judgment, that anxiety about how others perceive us, it paralyzes so many dreams before they ever begin. And yet, when you really think about it, most people are too busy worrying about themselves to spend more than a fleeting second thinking about your failures. If you fall, they might notice. They might even gossip for a day or two, but eventually they go back to their lives. It's harsh, but it's liberating too, because it means you can fail, you can stumble, and you can try again without carrying the crushing weight of everyone's opinions. This is why self-validation is so important. You have to become the person who believes in you the most. When you look in the mirror, you have to know deep in your bones that your worth isn't up for debate, that your dreams are valid simply because they're yours. You have to become your own source of encouragement, your own motivator, your own biggest supporter. Because if you don't back yourself, why should anyone else? And here's the truth. I've learned over and over again, the world respects action more than intention. When you start moving, when you start building, when you start creating, people eventually notice. Not because you begged for their attention, but because you became undeniable. But that only happens when you stop waiting for someone to give you permission and start giving it to yourself. Nobody cares as much as you think they do. That's not a reason to give up. It's the reason to go all in. Do it for you. Do it because it matters to you. Do it because you refuse to leave this world without becoming everything you're capable of being. At the end of the day, that's all that truly matters. Living a life you're proud of, whether anyone else is watching or not. Because once you stop chasing their applause, you finally start hearing your own. Life has a way of testing us in moments we least expect. One day everything feels steady, and the next, it's as if the ground beneath you disappears. Dreams collapse, relationships break, plans fail, and suddenly you find yourself carrying a weight you never prepared for. In those moments, it's natural to ask, why me? Why now? Why does this have to hurt so much? But if there's one thing I've learned, it's this: pain is not your enemy. Pain is your teacher. We often see struggles as signs that we're unlucky or that life is against us. We forget that every person you admire, every success story you've ever heard is built on a foundation of pain, failure, and countless setbacks. Nothing shapes you like pain does. Nothing builds character, resilience, and clarity the way struggle does. It forces you to grow in ways comfort never could. Comfort feels good, but it rarely changes you. Pain, on the other hand, pushes you beyond your limits. It breaks down who you thought you were so you can become who you're meant to be. Think about it. The most powerful lessons in your life didn't come from the easy days, did they? They came from the heartbreak that left you questioning your worth, from the failure that shattered your confidence, from the rejection that stung so deeply it made you doubt your entire path. But in time, you realized those moments were shaping you. That heartbreak taught you self-respect. That failure taught you perseverance. That rejection redirected you towards something better. Pain has a way of stripping away everything unnecessary, leaving you face to face with your truest self. The problem is, most of us try to avoid pain at all costs. We numb it, we distract ourselves, we pretend it's not there. But the more we run from it, the more power it holds over us. The truth is, pain isn't going anywhere. Life will never be free of it. You'll lose things, you'll fail, you'll face nights that feel endless. But here's the beauty in it: every time you survive, you become stronger. Every time you rise again, you discover parts of yourself you didn't even know existed. And let me tell you something: the world won't pause for your pain. It doesn't wait for you to heal before it keeps moving. Life goes on whether you're ready or not. That might sound harsh, but it's also liberating, because it means you have a choice. You can let your pain define you, or you can let it refine you. You can become bitter, or you can become better. You can carry the weight of your wounds forever, or you can use them to build a stronger version of yourself. When you understand this, something changes inside you. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" Suddenly, the same storm that once terrified you becomes the very thing that strengthens you. You start to realize that every challenge carries within it the seed of transformation. The nights that broke you become the reason you rise stronger. The setbacks that discouraged you become the foundation for your future success. And here's the thing: when you embrace your pain instead of resisting it, you unlock a power most people never find. You learn that nothing can break you if you refuse to stay down. You discover resilience. You develop patience. You gain wisdom. Pain doesn't make you weaker. It reveals the strength you've had all along. So the next time life knocks you down, don't curse the struggle. Don't resent the process. Look at it for what it truly is: an invitation to grow, to evolve, to become more than you were yesterday. Because on the other side of that pain is a version of you that's stronger, wiser, and more unshakable than you can imagine. Pain is inevitable. Growth is optional. Choose growth. There comes a point in life when you realize that motivation alone will not carry you where you want to go. You can listen to all the inspiring speeches, read every book, and watch countless videos, that ignite a spark within you, but that spark always fades if there's no discipline to sustain it. Motivation feels good, it makes you excited, gives you energy, and pushes you forward in the moment, but it's unreliable. It comes and goes like the wind. If you want to build a life that truly reflects your potential, you cannot depend on fleeting bursts of inspiration. You have to master self-discipline. Think about how many times you felt inspired to change your life. Maybe it was after hearing a powerful story, watching someone else succeed, or setting a big goal for yourself. In that moment, you felt unstoppable. But then, a few days later, the energy faded. You didn't feel like waking up early anymore. You didn't feel like working out, studying, or putting in the effort. And that's where most people stop, right when the excitement disappears. But success belongs to those who keep going even when the feeling is gone. Discipline is doing what you said you would do long after the mood you set it in has left you. It's getting out of bed when your body screams for more sleep. It's staying focused when distractions are pulling you in every direction. It's choosing the hard path today so you can live the life you want tomorrow. That's not easy. It takes strength to show up for yourself when nobody is watching, when nobody is clapping, and when nobody even cares. But that's exactly when discipline matters the most. And here's the uncomfortable truth: life will not reward you for your intentions. The world doesn't care about what you plan to do, what you dreamed of achieving, or how much you thought about changing. It rewards action. It rewards consistency. It rewards the quiet, daily decisions that no one sees but shape everything about who you become. Discipline is what separates those who wish from those who achieve. There's this illusion we carry that we need to feel ready before we act. We wait for the perfect moment, the perfect mindset, the perfect circumstances. But the perfect moment never comes. If you only work when you feel good, you'll accomplish very little in life. The people who rise to the top aren't the ones who feel motivated every day. They're the ones who built habits so strong that they keep moving forward regardless of how they feel. The beautiful thing is, discipline is not something you're born with, it's something you build. Every small choice you make trains your mind. Every time you push through resistance, you strengthen your will. Every time you honor your commitments to yourself, you prove that you can be trusted with your own dreams. And slowly, what once felt impossible becomes your new normal. But here's where it gets even deeper. Self-discipline is an act of self-respect. When you stay committed to the things that matter most to you, you're telling yourself that your dreams are worth the effort. You stop breaking promises to yourself. You stop relying on others to push you. You stop seeking external forces to drive you because you've cultivated something far more powerful: the ability to lead yourself. This is where true freedom lies. When you no longer need to wait for motivation, when you can rely on your discipline to carry you forward, you become unstoppable. You move not because you feel like it, but because it's who you are now. That's how lives are transformed. That's how ordinary people achieve extraordinary things. Motivation will get you started, but discipline will keep you going. And in the end, the life you want will not be built by what you feel, it will be built by what you do. One of the biggest mistakes we make in life is wasting our energy trying to convince others to understand our dreams. We spend so much time explaining ourselves, defending our choices, and seeking approval from people who were never meant to see our vision in the first place. And here's the truth: most people won't understand where you're going because they can't see what you see. Your dream was planted in you, not them. It wasn't meant to make sense to everybody. And yet we hold ourselves back, afraid of judgment, afraid of being misunderstood, afraid of walking a path that looks lonely at first. But here's what you need to understand. You don't need anyone's permission to become who you're meant to be. You don't need their validation to chase what sets your soul on fire. Every time you pause your journey to explain yourself to people who don't even share your vision, you slow yourself down. And sometimes in our need to be understood, we talk ourselves out of the very dreams that were meant to change our lives. Think about how many times you've told someone about your goals, only to be met with skepticism or doubt. You share your passion, and they say, "That's too risky," or "That's not realistic," or "Why would you even want to do that?" And suddenly, you start second-guessing yourself, not because you lack belief, but because you allowed someone else's limited perspective to influence your path. You see, people often judge your dream based on the size of their own imagination. If they've never seen it done, they assume it can't be done. If they wouldn't dare to take the leap, they project their fear onto you. That's why you can't let their doubts dictate your destiny. At some point, you have to stop explaining and start doing. You have to make peace with the fact that your journey is yours and yours alone. The people who truly matter will see your growth through your actions, not through your words. Let your results speak louder than any explanation ever could. There is nothing more powerful than quiet progress. There's nothing more undeniable than success that doesn't need defending. But I won't lie to you, this is not an easy shift to make. It requires courage to move in silence. It requires strength to keep showing up when nobody's clapping, when nobody believes in you, and when even the people closest to you don't fully understand what drives you. That's when you learn the importance of trusting yourself above all else. You have to decide that your vision matters enough to you that it doesn't need to make sense to anyone else. And here's the beautiful part. When you stop wasting your energy on explanations, you free up that energy to actually build. Instead of talking about what you're going to do, you start doing it. Instead of seeking approval, you seek progress. Instead of waiting for others to believe in you, you become your own proof. And little by little, the same people who doubted you will be the ones asking how you did it. Remember this: dreams are fragile in the beginning. They need protection. They need focus. They need your full commitment, not your endless debates with people who will never walk the path with you. Stop giving them the power to define what's possible for you. You don't have to convince anyone. You don't have to explain yourself. Just keep moving, keep building, and let your results make all the noise. Because when your success speaks, even the loudest doubts fall silent. We spend so much of our lives chasing acceptance, approval, and recognition from others, often without even realizing it. We shape our choices to fit what society expects. We change our opinions to please people we barely know. We hide parts of ourselves just to be liked. And yet, despite all of this effort, no amount of external validation ever feels enough. Do you know why? Because the most important relationship you will ever have in your entire life is the one you have with yourself. Until you learn to respect, love, and trust yourself, nothing anyone says or does will ever truly satisfy you. We grow up believing that happiness will come when other people finally see our worth. When they compliment us, support us, choose us, or cheer for us. But the harsh reality is this: if you don't see your own value, It won't matter who else does. You'll always feel like something's missing. You'll always depend on someone else to fill a void only you can fill. That's why self-acceptance is not just important, it's essential. It's the foundation on which everything else in your life is built. The way you see yourself influences every decision you make. If you don't believe you're capable, you'll never take the risks that lead to growth. If you don't believe you deserve better, you'll settle for less than you're worth. In relationships, in work, in life. And if you keep waiting for someone else to validate you, you'll stay stuck in a cycle of chasing approval that never ends. That's no way to live. You deserve more than that. But here's the thing. Building a strong relationship with yourself doesn't happen overnight. It takes honesty. It takes courage. It takes being willing to confront your own insecurities, your fears, and your doubts without running from them. You have to sit with yourself and ask the hard questions. Who am I really? What do I want? What matters to me? And most importantly, am I living in alignment with the person I want to become? When you start honoring your own values, something powerful happens. You stop needing everyone else's approval. You stop trying to prove yourself in every room you walk into. You stop bending just to fit into spaces you were never meant to belong to in the first place. Instead, you build a sense of grounded confidence, the kind that doesn't need applause, the kind that doesn't crumble when criticized, the kind that allows you to stand tall even when no one else is standing with you. And that confidence doesn't come from pretending to be someone you're not. It comes from fully embracing who you are. It comes from recognizing your strengths and forgiving yourself for your flaws. It comes from choosing to love yourself even when life hasn't been kind to you. When you treat yourself with respect, you set the standard for how the world treats you. People take cues from you. If you value yourself, they learn to value you too. But here's the deeper truth. When you learn to have your own back, you become unstoppable. You stop waiting for someone to choose you because you've already chosen yourself. You stop fearing rejection because you no longer tie your worth to someone else's opinion. You stop clinging to relationships, jobs, and environments that drain you because you know your value isn't negotiable. The strongest foundation you can ever build is the one inside you. When you have your own respect, when you trust your own decisions, when you genuinely like the person you're becoming, you become free. Free from the endless chase for validation, free from the fear of judgment, free to live life on your terms. Because at the end of the day, if you can't count on yourself, who can you count on? And when you finally can, that's when everything changes. At some point, you have to come face to face with one of life's most powerful truths. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody owes you success. Nobody owes you happiness. Nobody owes you the life you dream about. And while that might sound heavy, it's also one of the most freeing realizations you'll ever have, because it means you hold the pen to your own story. Your journey, your growth, your transformation, it's all in your hands. The moment you stop waiting for someone else to change your life is the moment you finally start living it. So many people stay stuck because they're waiting for circumstances to improve, for the right opportunity to appear, or for someone to finally believe in them. But if you keep waiting, life will pass you by. The truth is, you can't control who supports you, who doubts you, or who walks away from you. You can't control how many times life knocks you down, but you can control what you do next. You can choose to rise. You can choose to act. You can choose to take responsibility for where you are and where you want to go. Taking ownership of your life isn't always easy. It means no longer blaming your past, your parents, your circumstances, or your failures. It means looking in the mirror and saying, if it's going to happen, it starts with me. That's a hard thing to admit because it forces you to confront the choices you've made, the habits you've built, and the time you've wasted. But there's power in that honesty because it puts you back in control. And the moment you accept responsibility, everything changes. You stop making excuses and start finding solutions. You stop waiting for permission and start creating opportunities. You stop expecting someone else to fight your battles and start fighting them yourself. There's no greater sense of freedom than realizing you are not bound by the limitations others have placed on you, unless you choose to be. But here's the thing: taking responsibility doesn't mean the journey will be easy. In fact, it often gets harder before it gets better. You'll face setbacks. You'll face moments of doubt. You'll have days where quitting feels easier than continuing. But those are the exact moments where you grow. Those are the defining moments when you decide whether you'll settle for where you are or keep pushing toward where you want to be. You have to understand something. Nobody will ever believe in your dream as much as you do. Nobody will feel the weight of your vision like you do. And that's okay. It's not their job to believe. It's yours. It's your job to carry it. It's your job to fight for it, to sacrifice for it, to protect it, even when nobody else understands. Because at the end of the day, you're the one who has to live with the life you create or the life you settle for. When you fully embrace this, you stop comparing your path to anyone else's. You stop worrying about who's ahead of you or who's behind you, because you realize this journey is yours alone. You start focusing on becoming just 1% better than you were yesterday, and those small, consistent steps, they compound. They change everything. Life becomes so much lighter when you stop waiting for someone else to choose you and start choosing yourself. You stop chasing after people's approval, stop depending on someone else's timing, and stop tying your happiness to anyone else's decisions. You take back your power, because at the end of the day, this is your story and nobody else can live it for you.